Here's project L and S. We are now going to use them to illustrate application of the payback period. What is the payback period? It is the number of years required to recover a project's costs. In other words, how long does it take for us to get our money back? It is calculated by adding a project's cash inflows to its costs until the cumulative cash flow for the project turns positive. It is really quite simple. So recalling Project L's cash flows, in year 0 there is a $100 cash outflow, followed in year 1 by a positive $10 cash inflow, $60 in year 2, $80 in year 3. How long does it take to recover that $100 cost? Well, after the first year, we've only recovered $10. We've got $90 left to go. After year 2, cumulatively, we have recovered $70 of our $100 cost. We only have an additional $30 left to recover. So by eyeballing the next year's cash flow, year 3's cash flow, we see $80 will have it covered. We'll have covered that additional $30 left to recover. So we know that the payback is going to occur sometime between years 2 and 3. So our payback period for Project L is 2 years plus what's left to recover after year 2 divided by year 3's cash inflow. So that's 2.375 years. For Project S, we calculate its payback using the same method. Project S had a $100 cost in year 0. In year 1, we recovered $70 of that $100. So at that point, after year 1, we only have $30 left to recover. When we look at year 2's cash inflow, that's $50. So we know we'll have that covered. So the total recovery time occurs somewhere between years 1 and 2. So our payback for S is 1 year plus the $30 left to recover after year 1 and year 2's cash flow of $50. And that's 1.6 years. Each one of our techniques we will cover in Chapter 11 will have a decision rule that will help our firms decide whether or not to accept a project or reject it. For payback period, if a project's payback period is less than some predetermined length that the firm has deemed as acceptable, and each firm will decide this for themselves. So this will be very subjective. So if the project's payback period is less than that predetermined length, the project is acceptable to the firm. However, if it takes too long for that project to recover its initial costs, so if the project's payback period is greater than some predetermined length the firm has deemed as acceptable, that project is rejected. Here are 2 more examples that I've worked for you using the payback period. Now, what are some of the strengths and weaknesses of the payback period? One strength is that it provides an indication of the project's risk and liquidity. So if the project pays back quickly, that project has less risk and more liquidity. And another strength is that it is very easy to calculate and understand. But of course, anything that is easy is going to be fraught with weaknesses. One of the weaknesses of the payback period is that it totally ignores the time value of money. And we know that is oh so important in placing a value on assets. It also ignores any cash flows that occur after the payback period. It could be something wonderful, it could be something catastrophic, but it doesn't matter. Payback period ignores anything after that payback period. And payback period shows no relationship between a given payback and investor wealth maximization. Our next method, or our next technique that we will use in capital budgeting, is called discounted payback period. And it does consider, or it addresses, time value of money, but the other two flaws or weaknesses still remain with discounted payback period.